You walk into a shop or you scroll a website and you pay a premium price, £40 or £50, for a bottle of oil that proudly says fully synthetic on the front because you want the best for your engine. And here is what nobody tells you. The oil you just bought is very probably not synthetic at all. It is refined crude oil, the same stuff pumped out of the ground, put through an extra process and legally relabeled as synthetic, thanks to a court case most people have never heard of. The word synthetic on a bottle of engine oil in Britain means almost nothing. By the end of this video, you will know the 10 types of oil sold in this country that are dressed up as something they are not, the one word on the bottle that actually protects your engine, and the single kind of oil on this list that can genuinely destroy your car in a matter of weeks. Because there are two scams running here at once. One takes your money, the other takes your engine. Let me give you the fact that unlocks the whole thing, and it goes back to 1999. Back then, there were oils that were genuinely synthetic, built molecule by molecule in a plant, and there were mineral oils refined from crude, and everyone understood the difference. One oil company, whose flagship synthetic oil was the genuine laboratory-built article, complained to an advertising standards body that a rival had quietly switched its synthetic oil to a highly refined mineral base while still calling it synthetic on the label. It seemed like an open and shut case, and the ruling, in April 1999, went the other way entirely. The advertising body decided that because the mineral oil's molecules had been so thoroughly rearranged by that intense refining process, it could legally be called synthetic, and that synthetic was, in effect, a description of performance, rather than a description of what the oil was actually made from, and that single decision blew the doors clean off the entire industry. Almost overnight, oil companies right across the market realized they no longer needed to make expensive, genuinely synthetic oil to put the magic word on the label and command the magic price. They could take far cheaper refined mineral oil, call it fully synthetic, and sell it to you for the same money as the real thing. Nearly all of them did exactly that quietly within a few years, and they have been doing it ever since. Only a small handful of specialist oils held out and kept using genuine synthetic base. The word on the bottle stayed reassuringly the same. The stuff inside it, and the cost of making it, quietly collapsed. Here is the first thing you need to understand, because Britain is a soft target for this. There is no strict legal definition of the word synthetic for engine oil in this country, just as there wasn't in that 1999 ruling, so a manufacturer can print it on almost anything short of pure mineral oil, and you have no real comeback. We pay some of the highest prices in Europe for our motoring, so the premium you are charged for that one magic word is real money leaving your pocket, several pounds a bottle several times a year, for as long as you own a car. And crucially, modern British cars are exactly the kind that punish you for getting the oil wrong. Turbocharged engines run hard, diesel particulate filters that choke on the wrong oil, direct injection that demands specific protection, all of them far fussier about the exact specification you pour in than the simple, forgiving engines of the past ever were. On top of that, we now buy an enormous amount of oil online, from a marketplace awash with cheap bottles of unknown origin, some of them outright counterfeit. So we have a perfect storm, a meaningless label, a premium price, fussy and expensive to repair engines, and a flood of dubious oil just a click away. Add it all together and the British driver is being scammed twice over, once on the price of the label and once, far more dangerously, on the quality and suitability of what is actually inside the bottle. Today I am going to show you how to stop being scammed on both, and it is easier than you think. I want to be transparent about how this was put together, because oil is a subject drowning in myth and marketing. This is based on the industry's own base oil classification system, the API groups that objectively define what an oil actually is, regardless of what the front of the bottle shouts. It draws on the documented record of that 1999 advertising, ruling that changed the meaning of the word synthetic overnight. It uses the ACEA and manufacturer approval standards that genuinely govern whether an oil is right for your engine, the codes that actually matter, and the analysis of independent lubricant specialists who test these oils properly in laboratories rather than in adverts. And it draws on the repeated public warnings issued by manufacturers and trading standards about counterfeit oil, a genuine and growing danger in an age of online marketplaces. I am not a mechanic, and this is general guidance rather than advice for your specific car, so always check your own handbook and, if in doubt, ask your garage. But every claim here is grounded in how the oil industry actually works, not in how it prefers to advertise. No oil company paid for a word of it, and several of them would much rather this particular subject stayed exactly as confusing as it is, because that confusion is precisely what they sell you. So let me explain the system quickly, because it is the key to everything. Engine oils are built on a base oil, and the industry sorts base oils into 5 groups, and this is the secret the marketing is built to hide. Groups 1 and 2 are conventional mineral oils refined from crude in the ordinary way, the cheap stuff. Group 3 is also a mineral oil, refined from crude, but put through a far more intense process called hydrocracking, which rearranges its molecules until it behaves much more like a synthetic, and this is the one that, since 1999, gets sold to you as fully synthetic, despite starting life as a barrel of crude oil pumped out of the ground. Group 4 is the genuine article, a true synthetic called PAO, polyalpha olefin, which is built up chemically in a plant from simple molecules rather than refined down from crude. And Group 5 is another family of true synthetics, the esters, prized for their performance and often blended into the very best oils. So when the industry says synthetic, it can mean 2 completely different things: a genuine, laboratory-built Group 4 or 5 oil, or a heavily processed Group 3 that is really just very clever mineral oil. The bottle almost never tells you which. Now here is the honest part, and I will always give you the honest part because a video that just shouts scam at you is worthless. A modern Group 3 oil, the so-called fake synthetic, is actually a genuinely good product. It is not rubbish, and it is not going to wreck your engine. For the vast majority of normal road cars, driven normally on the school run and the motorway, a properly made and properly approved Group 3 fully synthetic will protect your engine perfectly well, and independent lubricant testing has shown it can even outperform true synthetic in certain areas, like how well it holds its additives. True synthetic pulls ahead mainly in extreme conditions, on a racetrack towing heavy loads, in a hard-work turbo, or in brutal cold. So this is not a story about your engine being quietly poisoned by mineral oil. It is a story about you paying the full price of a genuine synthetic and being handed clever mineral oil instead, and about a second, far more dangerous scam hiding among the cheap and the fake. Here are the 10. Number 10, the mainstream fully synthetic, the big brown bottle on the shelf that costs a premium and says fully synthetic in bold letters. In the overwhelming majority of cases, this is a Group 3 oil, refined mineral oil, not the genuine synthetic the name implies. It is legal, it is everywhere, and it is usually a decent oil, but you are paying a synthetic price for a mineral product, and the word on the front is marketing, not chemistry. Number 9, semi-synthetic, also sold as part synthetic. This sounds like a sensible halfway house, and it is priced like one. In reality, it is mostly cheap mineral oil, with only a modest splash of the better stuff blended in, sometimes a very small amount indeed, because there is no rule about how much synthetic makes an oil semi-synthetic. You're often paying a meaningful premium over plain mineral oil for a bottle that is, in the main, plain mineral oil. Number 8, the synthetic blend, which is the same trick wearing a different coat. Blend is the honest word buried in a dishonest impression, because it is a blend, mostly of the cheap base, dressed up to sit next to the full synthetics and catch the eye of someone who thinks blend means premium. It doesn't, it means diluted. Number 7, the weasel word oils, the ones that say things like synthetic technology, or with synthetics, or synthetic based. Read those phrases again slowly because they are masterpieces of saying nothing. Synthetic technology is not synthetic, with synthetics could mean a teaspoon of it. These phrases exist for one reason: to put the word synthetic in front of your eyes on a bottle that is essentially mineral oil, without technically lying. Number 6, the supermarket and own brand fully synthetics, the bargain bottles that undercut the big names. Some of these are perfectly fine Group 3 oils. The problem is not always what they are made of, it is what they are missing, because the cheapest ones often lack the specific manufacturer approvals your car actually needs, which, as I'm about to explain, is the thing that really matters. A cheap, fully synthetic that is not approved for your engine is a false economy wearing a bargain sticker. Number 5, and this is the most important label trick of all, the oils that say meets, or recommended for, or suitable for use with a manufacturer's specification, rather than the word approved. This is the certification scam, and it is enormous. When an oil is genuinely approved to a standard, the maker has submitted it for expensive official testing by that car manufacturer or standards body, paid the fee and passed the tests, so the approval on the bottle is a guarantee that the oil was proven in a real engine to do what your car needs. When an oil merely says it meets, or is recommended for, or is suitable for use with that same standard, it has done no such thing. It is the oil company's own marketing claim, self-declared, untested and uncertified, and there are documented cases of oils confidently claiming to meet a standard which, when independently tested, plainly and measurably do not. It costs a manufacturer a great deal of money to get an oil formally approved, so when they have skipped that and reached instead for softer language, that choice tells you something. Approved means proven, in writing, by someone with skin in the game. Recommended for means trust me. Those are not the same thing, and on a fussy modern engine the difference between them could be your turbocharger or your particulate filter. Number 4, the cheap fully synthetic with no proper approvals at all, no ACEA rating, no manufacturer approval code, just the words fully synthetic and a low price. Now we cross from being overcharged into being genuinely endangered. Because the label synthetic tells you absolutely nothing about whether the oil is right for your specific engine, and using the wrong specification can cause real, expensive, permanent damage. Put a high ash oil, the kind designed for older engines, into a modern diesel with a particulate filter, and you will slowly flood that filter with ash that, unlike soot, can never be burned away during regeneration, clogging it years before its time and leading to a replacement bill that can run to £1,500. Put an oil without the right modern protection into a turbocharged direct injection petrol engine, the kind in half the cars sold today, and you risk a violent phenomenon called low-speed pre-ignition, an uncontrolled explosion in the cylinder that can crack pistons and destroy the engine outright. The latest oil standards were written specifically to protect against exactly these failures. The word fully synthetic on a cheap, unapproved bottle protects you from none of it. It is a decoration, not a safeguard. Number 3, the high-mileage synthetic, marketed at owners of older cars with a promise to look after a tired engine. Most of these are ordinary Group 3 oil with some seal-swelling additives mixed in to reduce leaks, sold at a premium to worried owners. The additives are real enough, but you are paying extra for a mineral oil with a marketing story attached, and if it does not carry your car's correct specification, the story is all you are getting. Number 2, the long-life synthetic, sold on the promise that you can go longer between oil changes. This one carries a real risk, because long service intervals only work with an oil that carries the exact long-life approval your engine demands, a specific code from the manufacturer. A general fully synthetic that does not carry that precise approval, run on a long-life schedule, can leave your engine running on tired, broken-down oil for thousands of miles too long. The word synthetic does not grant long-life protection, only the exact approval code does. And number 1, the outright fake, counterfeit oil. This is not a labelling trick or a marketing stretch. This is criminal fraud, and it is the one that genuinely destroys engines. Premium synthetic oils are a favourite target for counterfeiters precisely because the margins are so high, and the fakes are getting frighteningly good at copying the bottles, the labels, even the security seals. Inside, though, is often recycled waste oil, or the cheapest low-grade fluid on earth, with none of the carefully balanced additives that clean and protect your engine. Oil that breaks down almost immediately under real engine heat, forms sludge, blocks the oil filter, starves the engine of lubrication, and can wreck it in a shockingly short space of time, sometimes within a single oil change interval. One telltale sign is the smell, because counterfeit oil made from recycled waste often reeks of burnt exhaust rather than clean oil. It is sold exactly where you would expect: dodgy online marketplaces, unfamiliar third-party sellers, roadside deals, anywhere offering a famous premium brand at a price that seems too good to be true, and that price is the tell. If a bottle of top-brand synthetic is suspiciously cheap from a seller you have never heard of, do not congratulate yourself on a bargain. Assume it is poison in a pretty bottle, and walk away. So before I give you the rules, I want to ask you something directly, and I read every reply. Tell me in the comments what oil you put in your car, and crucially, whether you have ever actually checked what specification your engine requires, or whether you just grabbed the bottle that said fully synthetic. Be honest, because I suspect the vast majority of us have been buying oil on the strength of a single marketing word for years. And tell me if this video just changed that forever. Now the rules, because this is where you take back control, and it is genuinely simple once you know it. Rule 1. And this is the big one that makes everything else easy. Ignore the word synthetic almost entirely and look instead for 3 things, in this order. Your oil's viscosity, the number like 5W30 or 0W20, which must match your handbook exactly, because it is about how the oil flows cold and hot. Its ACEA rating, the European code like C3, C2 or A3, which must also match, because it governs things like how much ash the oil leaves in your particulate filter. And above all, sitting on top of both, the manufacturer approval, the specific code your own car maker demands, such as VW50400 or BMW Longlife04, or a particular Mercedes, Ford, Vauxhall or Porsche code. That approval is the single most important thing printed on the entire bottle, worth infinitely more than the word synthetic, because it means your exact engine was tested with that exact oil. Rule 2. Find out what your car actually needs, and you do not have to guess or trust a salesman, because it is written right there on your oil filler cap under the bonnet and in your handbook. Rule 3. Insist on the word approved, and be suspicious of meets or recommended for because one has been paid for and proven and the other has not. Rule 4. Buy from a trusted source, a proper motor factor, an established retailer, or your own garage, and treat any premium brand oil offered at a suspiciously low price by an unknown online seller as a probable counterfeit, because that is exactly where the fakes live. And Rule 5. Do not pay a penny extra for the word synthetic when a properly approved oil, one that carries your car's exact specification, is sitting right next to it on the shelf for less money. The correct specification is everything. The marketing word is nothing. Now the arithmetic, because it comes at you from 2 directions. First, the money. If you routinely pay top price for a fully synthetic simply because of the word on the front, when a correctly approved oil for your engine is available for less, you're handing over a premium, oil change after oil change year after year, for a label and nothing more. On its own, that might be a few pounds a bottle, but multiply it across every service for the life of the car, and it is a meaningful sum handed to a marketing department for no benefit whatsoever. But the second cost is the one that should really focus your mind, because it does not come in pounds, it comes in engines. Getting the specification wrong, or worse, ending up with a counterfeit, is not a matter of a few quid. It is a clogged particulate filter at £1,500, a wrecked turbocharger, a cracked piston, or an engine destroyed from the inside. And here is the detail that makes the whole thing so absurd. The correct approved oil for your car costs almost exactly the same as the wrong one sitting next to it. There is no saving to be had by getting it wrong, no bargain in the mistake, and everything to lose. So the genuinely cheapest oil you can possibly buy is the correct approved one from a source you trust, because it is the only one that is guaranteed never to cost you an engine. So here is the bottom line. The word synthetic on a bottle of engine oil in Britain is a marketing term, not a promise, and has been ever since a court ruling in 1999 quietly decided that clever mineral oil could wear the name. Most of what you're sold as fully synthetic is refined crude oil at a synthetic price, and while it is usually a perfectly good oil, you are paying for a word rather than a substance. But underneath that everyday overcharging lies a real danger, the cheap, unapproved and counterfeit oils that can genuinely destroy your engine. The way out of both is exactly the same, and it is refreshingly simple. Stop buying the word and start buying the specification. Check your filler cap, match the viscosity, the ACEA rating, and above all the manufacturer approval, insist on the word approved, and buy from someone you trust. Do that, and no marketing department and no counterfeiter will ever scam you again. The label is the sales pitch, the approval is the truth. And if you genuinely want a true synthetic for a track car or a hard-worked engine, a few oils like certain Mobil 1 grades, Motul, Redline and Amsoil still use real synthetic base, but only ever buy one that carries your car's correct approval. If this video saved you money, or saved your engine, subscribe so you never miss the next one, and send it to anyone who buys oil based on the word synthetic. That is all.